Yes guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today this is game week 27 of the Premier League predictions. Obviously this week there are a few decent games, but yeah, anyway, let's get into that video. Okay then, so the first game comes from St Mary's tonight at 8 o'clock as Southampton take on Norwich in the Premier League. And if I have to be honest, I reckon this game could be quite an interesting game. Southampton and Norwich, two sides who are doing decent, I think. You know, Norwich have started off the year very well with four wins, 1 draw and 3 losses. That isn't actually too bad. Norwich obviously sitting 20th in the table, but for Norwich that isn't bad at all. But for Southampton, they've started the year very good as well. Obviously, they kicked off the year with 5 wins, 1 loss and 2 draws. Southampton have only lost 1 game in 2022, and that was an away game against Wolves. I was about to say Everton there, but it's free. It was against Wolves. Obviously, Southampton at home, they've done quite well. They are unbeaten at home. Obviously, last time the Saints lost at home was against... Oh my God, it was actually quite a long time ago. The last time the Saints lost was on the 26th of September at St Mary's. It was a 1-0 defeat to Wolves. So it's been a very long time since the Saints have lost at home. So it will be a really tough challenge for Norwich tomorrow to go to St Mary's and beat Southampton. This will be a really good game. You know, Norwich, as I said, Norwich have started well. Southampton have started well. But Southampton, they are quite underrated at the moment, you know. They seem to be doing well against the big teams. So I think there's only one team that's winning this, and it is Southampton. And Armando Broja, keep an eye on him, he's a good player. So I'm going to say Southampton 3, Norwich 1, 3-1 to Southampton. Alright, then, so the next game comes from Ellen Road as we kick off Saturday with Leeds United against Tottenham. Now, if I have to be honest, you know, Wednesday night was not good at all. Obviously, we lost 1-0 to Burnley, but Leeds, they got battered 6-0 by Liverpool. So both Leeds and Spurs not having a good midweek, especially Leeds after conceding 6 against Liverpool. And a few Leeds fans are Marcelo Bielsa. They've pretty much had enough. Leeds, obviously, Leeds, they haven't really done much. They haven't done well at all. They've lost. They haven't won since the 16th of January. They've lost 4 games and drew 1. Obviously, those losses against Newcastle, Everton, Manchester United, and Liverpool. And obviously, they drew 3-3 with Aston Villa. So it hasn't really been the best of starts this year for Leeds, but for us, you know, it's been a bit of a 50-50 start to the year, if I have to be honest. But I think we should beat Leeds because I've noticed a lot recently that we can't really beat teams that really defend quite well. But Leeds, they can't really defend that much. They can attack, but they can't really defend. So my prediction, I'm going to say Leeds 1, Tottenham 3. I reckon Leeds will score. You know what? I think Leeds will score first, but I think we'll come back and win 3-1. 3-1 to Spurs. Alright, then, so the next game comes from the Brentford Community Stadium as Brentford take on Newcastle. Now in the press conference, in Ivan Toney's press conference, in Thomas Frank's press conference, he said that Christian Eriksen will be in the matchday squad for Brentford tomorrow against Newcastle, and that is just fantastic to see. Eriksen, obviously, he did play in a friendly against Southend. I think he scored and got an assist, or just got an assist. I'm not really sure, but it's brilliant to see Eriksen back. His first full match since the Euros, in fact, where Denmark played Finland, and that was the game where Eriksen collapsed. So hopefully he comes on tomorrow, and hopefully he does really well tomorrow against Newcastle. Newcastle, speaking of them, they've done quite well recently. They drew 1-1 at West Ham, and I watched that game, and to be honest, I think Newcastle started really well then. They slowed down a bit, they let West Ham get into the game, Obviously, West Ham scored, and then obviously Joe Willock scored, and it ended 1-1. But Newcastle, they have been on fire. They haven't. Well, Newcastle, last time they lost in the Premier League was on the 19th of December against Man City. Ever since then, they got a draw against Man United, a draw against Watford, wins against Leeds, Everton and Villa, and obviously a draw against West Ham. I know they lost to Cambridge in the FA Cup. That's the FA Cup and not the Premier League. So yeah, obviously after this for Newcastle, they've got a few tough games coming up. They got Brighton, Southampton, Chelsea, and Everton. So they've got a few tough games coming up. Then they got quite an easy game against Palace, and then they got Spurs and Wolves. So they have got a few tough games coming up, Newcastle. But tomorrow against Brentford, I think Newcastle will win. It'll be quite close. Brentford, their last game was a 2-1 defeat to Arsenal. Brentford have been terrible recently. They haven't won since the 8th of January, which was a win against Port Vale in the FA Cup. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losses and 1 draw. And that is shocking, if I have to be honest. So my prediction, I'm going to say Brentford 0, Newcastle 1. I think there'll be 1 goal in this, and I think it's going to Newcastle. 1-0 to the Toon. Alright then, so the next game comes from the Amex Stadium. It's Brighton and Hove Albion against Aston Villa. Aston Villa losing the last 2 games. Brighton, they have also lost their last 2 games, but Brighton, they got absolutely battered by Burnley. And truly not a good performance at all for the Seagulls against Burnley. Obviously, Weghorst, Brownhill and Aaron Lennon scoring for Burnley. And obviously Brighton lost 2-0 to Man United as well. For Villa, are the wheels starting to come off the bus for Steven Gerrard? They lost to Newcastle and they lost to Watford. Villa have lost to 2 sides who are in the relegation talk. But Villa are playing a Brighton side who are I think 8 points behind Spurs in 8th. So will Villa win tomorrow? I don't know, to be honest. I'm just going to get straight into it. My prediction is 0-0. I just can't see any team scoring, if I have to be honest. Brighton have a good defence. Villa can't really defend, but Martinez is a decent keeper. I think this will be a good game for Martinez, and I think it'll be a decent 0-0 draw. So I'm going to say Brighton 0, Villa 0. 0-0. Alright then, so the next game comes from Selhurst Park, and this game, I reckon will be a bit interesting. It's Crystal Palace against Burnley. And obviously Burnley, they have been on fire recently. They've won the last 2 games against Brighton and against Tottenham. My finger. But by the way, Nick Pope, what a performance against Tottenham. We had so many chances, but Pope just denied them all. And obviously, to be honest, the Burnley back line had a good performance, if I have to be honest. I reckon Burnley will be feeling confident. They've won the last 2 games. They played Brighton and Tottenham, who are fighting for Europe. Now they're playing a Crystal Palace side, who battered Watford in the week. But obviously they also lost to Chelsea 1-0. So this could be quite an interesting game. Obviously Palace, they got a cup game against Stoke before they're back in the Premier League against Wolves. This could be quite a decent game. Palace, they got Benteke, Zaha, Elise. They got a load of good players up front. But Burnley, they got Lennon and Weghorst and Brownhill. My prediction, I'm not going to get into it. Palace 2, Burnley 2. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. Alright then, so the next game is Manchester United against Watford. And all the team, Arsenal, West Ham, Wolves and Spurs will be begging for a Watford win at Old Trafford tomorrow. But Watford, I just can't see them winning, if I have to be honest. I know they beat Villa, they beat Aston Villa, and they're going to get battered by Crystal Palace. And Watford, they got a few tough games coming up. They got Manchester United, Arsenal, Wolves, Southampton and Everton. Then they got Liverpool. And yeah, so you could say Watford, probably their winnable game is maybe against Leeds and probably Brentford. which Watford are playing them on the 9th of April and the 16th of April. So yeah, Watford, you could probably say the only results that they can afford in those games are probably draws, if I have to be honest. But Manchester United, they drew 1-1 in midweek in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. A decent performance by United. I did watch the game, obviously. It was a bit 50-50. United did struggle in a few occasions. But obviously, Anthony Alanya scoring the goal and getting the point for United, or getting the draw for United in Madrid. Obviously, Watford, they did beat Villa 1-0. They seem to do it quite comfortably, but that is their first. Well, looking at the start of the year for Watford, they have 6 losses, 2 draws, and only 1 win in 2022, and that was the game against Villa. So, my prediction, I'm going to say Manchester United 2, Watford 0, a 2-0 win for Manchester United. Alright then, so the next game is the Saturday night football. It's Everton against Manchester City. And obviously, Manchester City, a disappointing result last time out for them as they lost 3-2 to Spurs, and the title race is now looking a lot interesting. Everton, they lost 2-0 in their last match against Southampton. And what I've noticed under Frank Lampard is, listen to this. Everton 4, Brentford 1. A win for Frank Lampard. Lampard has a win-loss. So will this game be a win for Everton against Manchester City? Who knows? But yeah, because Lampard's first game was against Brentford, they won. They played Newcastle, they lost. They played against Leeds, they beat Leeds. They played against Southampton, they lost to Southampton. So, will they win tomorrow? You never know, but probably not, if I have to be honest. I know Man City did lose to us, but City, I think most of their chances against Tottenham came down the left-hand side, if I have to be honest. I reckon they could beat Everton. I think if you compare Spurs and Everton, I reckon at the moment probably Everton are better than us because, they've signed some good players. But if you have to say, not just in the previous matches, if you have to say overall this season, it's Spurs. Overall this season, it is Spurs, but probably in recent matches, probably Everton, but overall this season, Spurs. But yeah, I know, I just can't see City losing, if I have to be honest. I think City will bounce back with a W. Everton 1, Manchester City 3, 3-1 to Manchester City. Alright, then to the next game, obviously, would have been Chelsea against Leicester, but that game has been postponed due to Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. So, the next game then is, West Ham United against Wolves. Now, Wolves, I watched their game against Arsenal last night. They were quite unlucky, Wolves, to lose. Arsenal scored in the 95th minute. It was an own goal by Jose Sa, but I think it was a Lacazette goal anyway. Wolves, they did quite well against Arsenal. I know they lost, but yeah, West Ham, they drew to Newcastle. Isn't really the best result for West Ham. And obviously West Ham today, they drew Sevilla in the Europa League draw. So any West Ham fans watching the video, put down in the comments what is your thoughts on that draw. Obviously, in my opinion, it's a decent draw. It's going to be a tough match for West Ham. But yeah, anyway, back to the game now. Wolves, they are very good. They're doing absolutely on fire. They're 7th place at the moment. They are 6 points behind Manchester United. They can go, it'll be either 6, 3 or 9 points, depending what happens in the United game or the Wolves game. But I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to say 2-1 Wolves. I think Wolves are going to beat West Ham. 2-1 Wolves. Alright then, and the final game then, which is one midweek game. It is Burnley against Leicester, which is a rescheduled game. Obviously, the game got postponed due to COVID. So yeah, obviously, Burnley, obviously they play against Crystal Palace tomorrow. Leicester, they obviously don't play because their game against Chelsea's off. So this is Leicester's match in game week 27 Leicester, they won 3-1 last night against Randers. Good performance by Leicester there. Obviously, after this, for Leicester, they got Leeds and they got Arsenal. So, you know, should be maybe 6 points for Leicester in the next 2 games. So, Burnley, though, obviously, we played them at Turf Moor, we lost. But I reckon Leicester will win this one. Burnley 1, Leicester 2. 2-1 to Leicester. Alright then, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.